And that, my friends, is that. After a crazy ride these last few years, SmackDown is no longer going to be on the USA Network, and on top of that, it's no longer going to be on Tuesday nights. We're moving to Fridays, we're moving to Fox, it means Ups and Downs is moving to, crazily, it's going to be on Saturdays, which means there's only one thing to do. And that, of course, is to bow our heads and say goodbye to SmackDowns on Tuesdays and Ups and Downs on Wednesdays. For some reason, we look down, all forlorn, where we're doing a fake funeral, even though there's no real emotion, involved in this. It's just the shifting of a schedule. It happens all the time. It happens every day. But still, I would like to thank you, SmackDown. Thank you, Vince McMahon. Thank you, Triple H. Thank you, Roman Reigns. And of course, thank The Rock, because without The Rock, SmackDown wouldn't have a name. Let's up those downs. But screw all that, because Erick Rowan kicked off this episode of SmackDown, and my word, isn't this just a lovely little adventure? Isn't this just a lovely little journey? The man was booed, and I especially enjoy seeing someone who maybe in the past wasn't used to their full potential finally get their moment in the sun. I mean, I have absolutely no idea what he was talking about. He was saying something like his destruction is art, and Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns knew this, but I don't care. And that didn't last long, because Daniel Bryan was so mad, he marched to the ring, he got in Erick Rowan's face, and he said, "Listen, you big ginger bald dude." He didn't say that, I've just said that. But he was really, really mad. I want to take you on right now. So that's what happened. Give it up. Now let's just take a step away from this episode for 1 second to praise Daniel Bryan. I think at this stage we can say he is one of the best wrestlers of all time, because not only does he always want to put other people over, but he can have a damn good match with anyone. And yes, I know I'm gushing, but I think all of this was summed up by the fact the audience on this night absolutely loved him, even though really he hasn't turned back properly face yet. And I will say this, if I'm ever even 0.00009th of the wrestler that Daniel Bryan is, I will consider myself the best wrestler on the planet. I know that doesn't make any sense, but I don't give two hoots. This was just a great big man, little man scrap, and of course, eventually Luke Harper came out and he was getting in Daniel Bryan's face, though Daniel Bryan had that scouted, and as soon as he saw bearded man number 2, he just launched himself at it through the ropes. Although, when he was getting back in, Erick Rowan tried to iron claw him, and Daniel Bryan's foot got caught in said ropes, and that was actually a really scary moment. Don't forget, when Mick Foley did that, 20, 30 years ago, it ripped his ear off. I genuinely hope Bryan is okay. But this 2-on-1 assault was too much for the former Yes Man, and after another iron claw in the ring, that's right, can you believe it, Erick Rowan won. Obviously, because he's a bad guy and he's got a bad guy friend, they then got in the ring and they were beating down on Daniel, but Roman Reigns, thank goodness he was in the arena. He came to make the save, and unlike previous weeks, the good guys actually stood tall and the bad guys had to run away with their tails between their legs. Bryan still pushed Roman Reigns at one point, then got the microphone and he said, "Look, let's just get down to brass taxes. Do you want to team with me to take on Harper and Rowan at Hell in a Cell?" And the crowd were all going, "Yes, yes, yes." And Rowan was like, "Oh, I'm the big dog," but he still agreed, and we're going to get that. I just want to point out, though, if it turns out this is all a ruse, and Daniel Bryan is actually the mastermind behind all of this, it will be the stupidest storyline in WWE history. Erick Rowan and Daniel Bryan kicked the absolute hoo-ha out of each other here. You can't get away with it now, so bring down the shutters, and let's just move forward with DB as a good guy. And I know this narrative has been all over the place and has a load of plot holes, but I don't care. I just want to say I've absolutely loved it. I'm also a fan of sit-down interviews, so I'm pleased that we gave Kofi Kingston one here. Although let's not overdo them, WWE. We have been doing them quite a few times over the last few weeks, but either way, give it a love. And it went exactly how you'd expect. We put over the fact that this is going to be Brock Lesnar's first SmackDown match in 15 years, because of course the Beast takes on Kofi Kingston next week when SmackDown moves to Fox, and we'll talk about that in just 1 second. And Michael Cole said, "Kofi, why did you agree to take this match?" And I hate that question. That question gets brought up all the time. It doesn't matter how you look at it, within kayfabe or without kayfabe, he took it because he's the champion and that's his damn job. Anyways, he said that is the reason he's going to take on Brock. He is a fighting champion and he will shock the world when he pins Lesnar 1, 2, 3 in the middle of the ring. Now, throughout this segment, WWE was also desperate to remind you that next week's SmackDown is going to be on Friday and it's going to be on Fox. They must have mentioned it around about 77,000 times. It was like this: I can't wait for SmackDown to move to Fox because it means Ups and Downs is going to move to Saturday, and no longer will Ups and Downs be on Wednesdays, because now with SmackDown going to Fox, Ups and Downs is going to be on Saturdays. What's that invisible man that's not actually there? That's right, Ups and Downs for SmackDown is now going to be on Saturdays. You take my point. Sometimes we run things into the ground and it's frustrating. I am genuinely excited about what Chad Gable's future in the WWE could be, and those words have never been used in that order to form that sentence. Give it up. It started off with Gable reminding us of everything that has gone down with Baron Corbin recently and saying that he was this close to winning the King of the Ring, and also that he is fed up of the short jokes. At that moment, Mike Kanellis came out. For some reason, he made a bunch of short jokes. I mean, it's not like Mike Kanellis is 6'7", is it? He doesn't even know who the father of his wife's baby is. So Mike Kanellis is basically just a big joke. And that was doubly true here because this was designed so Chad could just absolutely whip his behind. I mean, I don't think Kanellis got anything in around about 45 seconds, he was tapping out to the ankle lock. And I'll say this, even if you weren't too keen on Chad Gable beforehand, I think this booking, can you believe it, may actually see him win you over. And that is what I want. Chad is really flipping good at wrestling. Elias then appeared on the big screen to sing a short song to Gable. When I say a short song, I mean a song about Chad Gable being short. I mean, also, it was a short song. It only lasted about, 30 seconds, but we're getting tangled up here in wordplay. However, he did insinuate at the end that if you're not very tall, you shouldn't have even been born. That is what Elias said. Maybe going a little too far in the wrong direction with that one. Also good to know that deep down, Elias is some kind of evil dictator that wants to go and kill people. Charlotte was then in the back looking for Carmella, but she found R-Truth instead, and being the good friend that he is, he was like, I have no idea who Caramel is, and that made me laugh because I'm a fool. Eventually, Carmella just appeared from nowhere, and they are going to have a tag team match later tonight, and Carmella is really upset that her friendship with Bayley is over. I mean, are you kidding me? I didn't even know that you were buddies. And then WWE did another job of saying goodbye and thanked the USA Network for all the help with SmackDown over the years. It was kind of nice, I guess. Bit weird they didn't do a fake funeral, but I guess that's just me. It was then Charlotte and Carmel taking on Sasha Banks and Bayley. Not much to talk about, but they got things right, and that's all that matters. Giving it up. There was tomfoolery from Bayley and Banks because they're the heels, and that's what heels do. But eventually, Caramel was tapping out to the Banks statement, and that was that. Nice and easy. I assume we worked Carmella into this just so Sasha Banks could get another win over somebody in the women's division. Sasha Banks right now is flying high. Truth then picked up his friend and legged it because as soon as the bell rung, it did mean the 24/7 rules were back in force, and out came your usual geeks. Although shout out to Kairi Sane, who was brilliant and was staring through a telescope as she was chasing Carmella away. It's those little things that I absolutely love. And as Sasha Banks and Bayley beat down on Charlotte, Becky Lynch came out to a huge reaction and she made the save. And maybe this is one of the last times we see the man on SmackDown. Who knows where she's going to end up. Then we got to Sami Zayn and Shinsuke Nakamura taking on Ali, and it's hard for me to know what to do here with each one of those impasses, because on the one hand, Sami Zayn and Nakamura use their dastardly friendship to win, but on the other, Ali keeps getting run into the ground. And I got quite excited when I was like, oh, we're going back to Ali Nakamura for the IC Championship. But again, Ali now looks like a chump. I'm giving it a down. And again, yeah, this all worked. At one point, Ali was about to smash Nakamura with the 450, which surely would have been the win. But Sami Zayn pulled his mate Nakamura out of there. Then there was some chasing, and by the time Ali got back in the squared circle, he got Kinshasa'd right in the face, which means that Shinsuke was able to get the win here. So even if we do have a match for the championship, I have no idea if it was on the line here or not. I don't think it was ever made clear. But if we do it at the pay-per-view, you're allowed to do this with your hands, the shrug emoji, the guy on your iPhone, your Android phone, whatever, and say, that makes absolutely no sense. Feels kind of confusing, but hey, look, at least we found a way to circumvent the Sami tally. We just had to make him a heel manager and put him with a guy like Nakamura. There is always a way, always believe. New Day then ran through the B team. I have absolutely no idea why we did this, but the highlight for me was the commentary team saying, hey, when the draft comes around, maybe these four guys get split up. And I actually thought to myself, you know what? If you want to push Xavier Woods and Big E as singles talents, I think I'm ready for that right now, especially as Kofi Kingston's off doing his own thing. But as always, Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel are only here to lose. They did lose. The Midnight Hour got hit onto Bo Dallas. The New Day wins. I guess we'll figure out what's next for both. I have absolutely no idea. And shout out to Big E, who while warming up for this match was like in the corner gyrating his hips, and it was even stranger than usual. Giving it up. Things then got weird again, but hey, at least WWE gave us something that we have been asking for. Up. Began with Mandy Rose in the back handing out copies of Australian Maxim because she was on the cover, and then Otis was there and he was really excited to get one, which he did. Tucker arrived, he was like, oh buddy, what are you going to do with that? And the insinuation was that he was going to take it away and have a masturbate. And let's not pretend otherwise, that is what was implied, and they were oogling the magazine as such. But let's move away from that as quickly as we possibly can, because then if you can believe it, back in the ring, it was Fire and Desire, taking on Asuka and Kairi Sane, the Kabuki Warriors. They were back, and Asuka and Kairi Sane actually got the win. What the hell is happening? Asuka hit the code breaker, which was followed by Sane hitting that amazing elbow off the top rope onto Mandy Rose, and they got the 1, 2, 3. And by the way, the whole time, even in the back, when Mandy was handing out copies of that magazine, I think WWE was teasing that they may actually break up Deville and Rose, or that they're going to get split up in the brand split. You'd also have to think there's more teasing in the sense that Kabuki Warriors will now go after the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. But that's like me teasing that I ain't gonna wear t-shirts from Baby Gap. It could happen, but you can't be sure. I also want to give the biggest down I've given for a while, because I cannot handle, you know this if you watch Ups and Downs already, I cannot handle any more merging of themes, because it was the Kabuki Warriors who obviously merged Kairi Sane and Asuka's theme, and it was Fire and Desire who obviously merged Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville's theme, and it makes me want to rip my head off and chuck it out the window. It's the equivalent of you watching Ups and Downs and me doing this. Hi guys, welcome to Ups and Downs. It's a pleasure to see you. Then I was walking down the road and I saw a giant bear. I was like, giant bear, can you help me out? I'm broke and I want some jam. And by that point, I was just flying to the moon. And when I got to the moon, Rusev was there and we sat down and we had a cup of tea. And Rusev told me he didn't appreciate my bull. And I don't think I can ever get over that Shawn Michaels blocked me on Twitter, which is a true story. You see, it may all flesh together visually, but it absolutely makes no sense. So down, stop doing it. If you've got a tag team, give them new music. Down, down, down. Still only counts as one down. We finished SmackDown with the nonsense between Kevin Owens and Shane McMahon. But look, I am an honest man. I am a transparent human. I'm happy to say, when my mind has been changed, that maybe I was wrong. Give it up. But as somebody pointed out to me last week, Kevin Owens suing Shane McMahon actually does make sense, because it portrays Kevin as a smart, intellectual babyface who had to use his brain to get one over the boss. You know what? I totally agree with you. Too often in WWE we have good guys that are absolute idiots, or they're just getting beaten down in the ring and it turns out they've got no friends, whereas the bad guy has a ton of friends that are more than happy to run and have a big fight. So I turn it all around. This is fine by me, and if it does see Shane McMahon being written off TV for a while and Kevin Owens coming back from TV, I was wrong. Happy to say I was wrong, and that's basically what we're getting here, because it was announced after a lot of back and forth between Shane and Kevin that on the first episode of SmackDown on Fox, which by the way is happening on Friday, a week Friday, if you didn't know, there's going to be a ladder match. Above that ladder is going to be the court papers. I mean, that was a bit Vince Russo, but whatever. And whoever is able to grab those court papers will stay in WWE, and whoever does not has to leave the company forever. And they're quite high stakes. And again, it's happening on the same SmackDown as we're all forgetting Kofi Kingston versus Brock Lesnar for the WWE title. That is going to be a damn good episode of this show. It also means we will get the right ending for this feud, and I am never going to get mad at that. Very interestingly, we also had one last tease before we did Fade to Black here, because Becky Lynch was giving a last impassioned promo about how much she hates Sasha Banks, and then Banks turned up and just walloped Becky Lynch. Like they were backstage, and she threw her into some steel, threw her into some boxes. Becky got a bit of offense, but eventually was left laying, and by the time officials had broken it up, Sasha Banks looked like an absolute warrior. I guess WWE is going all in with this feud. We shall see. And can you believe it? It's over. It's done. We're never going to see SmackDown on the USA Network or Tuesday nights again. And if we do, it ain't going to be for at least 5 years. In 5 years, who the hell knows what will have happened to me? I could have turned into a tree. Nobody will know. But there's my spinning arrow. We'll give it an up. There wasn't that many downs this week, and while there were lots of ups, I wouldn't call it the best episode I've ever seen. It ticked all the boxes. It was very easy to watch, much like Raw was. It's been a successful week for World Wrestling Entertainment trademark. Now, don't forget to leave a comment below and let us know what you thought about last night's episode of SmackDown. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to WhatCulture. All you got to do is click. I'd appreciate it. Then secretly type in kayfabe news to the YouTube search bar and subscribe to them as well. You'll see why once you check out a video. And then, of course, head over to WhatCulture.com, read yourself some articles, follow WhatCulture on Twitter, WhatCulture WWE. Watch more videos here on WhatCulture Wrestling. My name is Simon from WhatCulture, and one last advert. If WWE can do it, I can do it too. You ain't gonna get SmackDown ups and downs next week on a Wednesday. You're gonna have to wait till Saturday, because the show don't air till Friday. Also, there's a bunch of legends on that show. What, Stone Cold's on it? I think Bret Hart may be on it, Goldberg, Sting, I don't know, the list goes on forever. It's gonna be intriguing. You may be about to experience the biggest wrestling war for some time, because next week on Thursday, that's right, I'll be up in those downs for AEW Dynamite. What time and age are we living in?